You're
Oh,
gonna have to do it. There you
boom.
go.
All
Beauty.
the power.
So
He got all the power. Yeah,
don't
man, you
don't put
can't
that
leave a
don't put that on me.
you can't leave a native guy alone. He gets really insecure, starts to fidget,
The fidgeting. Yes.
Yeah, yeah, fidget. He looks to the ground a lot.
I'm talking about
He's got a watch or a phone. He keeps checking it. Yeah, they're really n nervous creatures. And I don't know if you ever seen like a deer, alone in the woods. You ever seen a deer alone in the woods?
no, I'm a bad hunter.
When you spot them, I mean, I'm pretty sure that you're trying to murder them and all that. But they do this thing. It's kind of like what an Indian guy does too. They just stop and they stare at you. So that's what the Indian guy is. He's a nervous creature, and if you look at him when he's alone, he freezes up. And if you're talking to him, you can tell he's still alive because he shakes his head. What are you doing?
Here it is.
And just shakes his head.
Found it.
Oh yeah, how's your family? I don't know if that's true across all native communities. There's always that one nervous Indian guy. Usually he's real skinny. I don't know if you noticed that. He's like a real like he's the skinny guy on the res. And he has glasses. They're prescription glasses, but they're photo grays. Not the photo grays.
Yeah.
But they're the cheap ones, so it takes a long time to clear up.
Oh
So
my
when he's
goodness.
so when he goes indoors, it looks like he's wearing sunglasses indoors for a long time. Yeah. Pretty interesting. The human creature is quite the interesting specimen.
Mhm.
Because I don't know if we really belong in some of these situations we put ourselves in. Like nowadays, we're so
Huh?
many things we do that it just doesn't
Oh,
make sense.
that's a good question. I
I'm just rambling on. This is my general podcast um, demeanor. No matter what's going on in the background, you just got to keep rolling.
Mhm.
It might be that one magical thing you say that when you go to edit it, you think, "Oh yeah, that was a good one. I didn't even know I said that."
Yeah.
You can cut the rest of the garbage out. Like, oh, I was dumb. I see when your podcast, especially when you're the one that's the host, you can edit all the stuff out that you said that was not really that great. Your co-host, if they don't do the editing, yeah, you can just torture them and put whatever in you want. Make yourself look real good and funny and cool, saying all the cool stuff. So this conference and or gathering. What is this all about anyway?
I think it happens every year in March, and it's been going on for like a very long time.
Oh, okay.
And it's always in a different city. So last year it
Oh,
was in Victoria, and the year before it was in Vancouver.
oh. I would guess there's a lot of youth there then,
Hmm.
since it is a youth gathering.
Yeah.
What is your job?
Um, Community initiatives and social media coordinator with
Holy cow.
this team. It's a mouthful.
Put
Yeah.
that on a name tag.
It would not. Oh,
Had to be a had to be a necklace. Yeah, yeah. Community engagement specialist and a part-time coordinator. Yeah.
the lanyard.
Yeah, it'd be a big old loop necklace.
My lanyard broke, so I gave it to Jacob to fix like 2 months ago.
That's it. It's too much.
Too many too many letters. Too many
And
letters, so it broke.
I still haven't gotten it back.
Oh yeah. He's got a back order.
Oh yeah.
He's got a back order of many things. I can imagine he's got let me take a guess. If Jacob can hear me, let me take a guess. He's probably has about between 10 and 15 unfinished projects laying around. Is that right?
He's just working on setting up the other computer, but I would not be surprised.
Oh
I
yeah.
brought a hat with him that he's been working on. Yesterday we were tabling.
Oh yeah.
And then
Hustling. This guy's a hustler, man. You gotta watch his prices though. They'll start going up. What?
he might have like more than one hat with him.
Oh yeah.
One.
See, he'll sell you one, but he'll give you the cheap one. Under the, like he'll trade it under the table. No, I don't think Jacob's that kind of guy. I get suspicious that that happens, you know, especially like when you buy showroom things, like the showroom car or the showroom furniture. They say, "Oh yeah, we're gonna you ought." They always tell you you ought to buy this spray. We'll put on this spray on it, and it'll make it, you know, impervious to stain. You have a lot of kids, right? They always say, "You got a lot of kids, right?" Yeah, I guess. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I would say a lot, but yeah, okay. I got some kids. Yeah. Well, you want your things to stay nice, so we're gonna, for a small charge, we'll put the spray on your upholstery, and they sell it. You know, I don't think they even put it on. I think they're just full of it. You know, I doubt. I have a lot of doubts. Skeptical. I'm highly skeptical. I think that's the nature of the. Let's see. No, wait. Let me think about it. Yeah, I think that's the nature of native guys too, you know. They're all so skeptical, you know. Are you sure? Especially when it comes to the things your partners tell you. Like the things Jacob tells me, I'm skeptical. Like, really? Are you sure?
He's busy now. When he goes back and edits this, he's gonna hear everything.
Oh, good. Yeah. He owes me some money too. I'm just kidding. He don't owe me money.
He said as if.
As if. Does it say as if?
Yeah.
As if. Yeah. No, but you got to maintain a certain level of skepticism, I think, in life in general. There's probably a very small amount of people that you just believe right off. There's no doubt about that they're telling the truth. That list is pretty small, though. Pretty small list. So what's going on there? There's a lot of commotion in the background, and I can't see what's up.
Jacob is trying to get the projector up and running. This is the first time that we've been in this classroom.
Oh.
Boxing swag. And then we've
All right, some sweats.
arrived.
Oh yeah, we're gonna get you
Yeah.
some swag.
I want a full sweatsuit.
We don't have pants.
Oh, no sweatpants. What kind of native organization are we running here when we don't give? We got to give away sweatpants, man. We give away hoodies. Yeah, all kids always have hoodies running around, but sweatpants is the thing that we need to bring back. The sweatpants. I mean, what guy would not want to wear matching sweat clothes, right?
Full
I
set.
see the green hoodie.
Yeah.
Yeah, the full set, man. See now the full sweatpants and the full hoodie. It goes great with beaded medallions. You get the green sweats. You get your what is the shoes that people like to wear these days? Air Force Ones. You get your Air Force Ones, your green sweats. It's got to have a cuff on the bottom though. Cuff on the bottom. Drawstring on the top. You don't cuff the top of sweats. That's everybody knows that.
Oh.
Okay, let me go.
You pair that with the green hoodie
Okay.
and your favorite beaded medallion. Bam!
Got
Oh, what-
projector issues.
What projector issues? Did it break?
I mean, we could also.
This is what we need to do. We need to get conferences and those kind of things to cut it out with the hoodies and start giving out sweatpants. And or to start doing full hoodie sweatpants combos matching. Now, who wouldn't admire an attendee with the conference swag that's a sweatpants and a hoodie combo? You'd be rolling hard on that conference, man. You'd be looking at you. Look at this guy. Full swag. Put your favorite beaded medallion on and you're like man. You just projected yourself out of the youth category, kind of like a uncle. I think of uncles as wearing sweatpants. Uncle's always wearing sweatpants.
Oh,
Jacob, if he could, he'd be wearing sweatpants right now.
oh yeah.
Yeah,
My
but he's
my
got to be.
band, my band doesn't make a sweatsuit though. My Indian band makes sweatsuits. I'm really jealous of some of those
No
when
sweatsuits.
when the First Nations have a really wicked merch store, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got my first Celebrating Salish t-shirt though.
All right.
Now that's some wicked merch.
That is. You know, I've never been to that conference.
Really?
No.
It was a pretty good time.
Yeah, I'm always tempted to go, but I don't think they're ready for me.
I mean, have you ever met Uchlanitsa or Larry Canoris?
I recognize the name, but no, I don't. I've never met.
I feel like if they can handle him, they might be ready for you. Maybe.
Okay. All right.
Mr.
All
Punk
right.
Pancho. Oh yeah.
Well, I think one thing that becomes somewhat of a source of discomfort is when the status quo is challenged.
Right. Yeah.
Respectfully, of course. Respectfully.
Yeah, it was kind of interesting. There's a few people that were mentioning language politics, but no one really got into specifically what they were. So I was
Oh yeah.
a little bit confused, but
Yeah. Because those are all the politic people that are there.
there we
No,
go.
I'm just kidding.
Sorry, moving you around a bit. Sorry, Uncle.
Of course, bullies don't talk about bullying. No, no. This is
I might edit
recorded.
this out.
No, don't edit it out. Do not edit
Maybe.
it out.
Oh. Do not.
No,
Okay,
it's just,
sounds good.
it's just poking fun at things, you know. There's a lot of great things that go on there. My kids go to that. They've gone to that a number of times.
I see
My
them and then
in-law, yeah.
I kept
You
going
see-
up to say hi, but then I got shy because I'd never met them IRL.
Then you got
Oh
shy.
yeah,
Like,
they would.
"Hi."
They'd give you the weird look, like, "Who is this
What's
guy?"
that?
And I had him.
Sorry,
I had him come up. What?
You're presently muted. One sec here. Speaker.
Censored
Oh my
again.
gosh. I know he's just shaking his head.
See,
keep on,
you start-
keep on
you
talking.
start-
Keep it rocking.
You start talking about the. You
Oh,
start
these are
talking
just-
about the bully
These are right quiet. Hold on a
at
sec.
the anti-bullying
I guess my
comference.
computer's.
And
my computer-
what happens? You get silenced. You get silenced for speaking the truth. It happens every time. But you know what? I will not remain silent. I will
Oh, there-
not. You will
Hey.
not silence me for speaking the truth.
You just yelled right into these.
Oh
we're cooking
man.
with gas this morning. Awesome.
Yeah. Drip
we're-
coffee.
gotta plug in that HDMI.
Straight from the grinder.
Yes, sir. We got Starbucks up here. There's no
Coffee intoxication.
Yes,
This is my
sir.
first. I've been off coffee. I've been off coffee for 24 hours.
Oh,
No, I joke.
Listen, brother.
8 hours. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
let's
we'll do
so
that.
Shandin, we're just gonna
Yeah.
we're gonna introduce our team really quick, and then we'll get going with the official episode. You went through half your time just solo bantering.
I
That was
used it
pretty
up.
wicked, man.
It's
That was
gonna
pretty
be boring now.
wicked. You got it out of your system.
I got it all out. Yeah, I'm going super formal now. I turned academic all of a sudden. I'm ready.
All right, so you wanna set it off or should I?
I'm ready to be pretentious and know-it-all-y.
Jacob and Jacqueline are just gonna do their intros now.
Okay, I'll shut up. She's like, yeah, shut up.
Sorry.
Shut up. Okay.
Hi, hello, my name's Jacob. My dad's from Denmark, and then my mom is Métis by my grandma. I'm related to the Whitford family from Manitoba and Montana. Hey there, Culture Bites fans. This is Jacob, the editor. Just wanted to clarify, as this is an audio-only episode, there's not a room full of Whitfords. Shandin played a silly video. business background, and everybody laughed and laughed. So you can see it. Oh, white Ninuis. Today we're joined by Shandin Pete. Shandin Pete is a
They said come back.
Salish gentleman from the Flathead Res in Montana. He's also a hydrology. What's your professorship? What do you teach over at UBC?
I'm an assistant professor of teaching in the Earth, Ocean, and Atmospheric Sciences department.
Right on. And he is also one of the hosts of the Tribal Research Specialist podcast, one of my favorite pods.
Hi, good morning, everyone. My name's Tristan. I'm Northern Shoshone from the Yukon, and I am the Community Initiatives and Social Media Coordinator on the Indigenous Youth Wellness Team. It's a mouthful of a title. I am also one of the co-hosts of the Culture BYTES podcast, which is our new Indigenous youth podcast. And that's what our workshop is going to be about today. And as you can see, we've got Shandin here, and we're just going to be recording an episode, and then we'll talk a little bit more about our podcast after the recording is done. With that being said, I'm going to pass it over to our guest here for an introduction.
All right. Yeah, thanks for having me here. Like I said, I said a lot of things before we started. I apologize for all of those things I said. And I want you to know I'm very sorry. No, I was kidding. No, I'm Shandin Pete. I come from a long line of ancestors, from the dinosaurs to the Sasquatch, and we honor and pay recognition to those ancestors that have gone on before us. But we do thank them continuously when we fill our gas tanks and use their bodies and bones to travel across this land. No, I'm just kidding. No, in reality, I come from a small town in Montana called Ardley, named after my in-laws' great grandfather. He was one of our last war chiefs among our people, and he was a mean guy, man, from what I know. And it's funny. One time these railroad guys came to the res. This is when they were first trying to open a res up to the non-indigenous folks, and they were negotiating the sale of some land. And so they all got around, and as they were accustomed, and started their negotiating. And the first thing he said, yeah, you can have this land, but it's going to cost you $1 million. And back then, this was like 1905, and he wanted $1 million for this land. And he knew it was a crazy and outlandish number, but that's how much that land really meant to him and to us. And he said in that negotiation, he said pretty clearly to those people, he said, "We love our country." He said, "It's like our parents." And when he said that, I think it means a lot to what our land means to us. Because you know how parents are. They're like, they take care of you, they love you and all that stuff. But they're really mean, man. They're mean to you too. They scold you and make you do things right. So the land is sort of like that too. It's not the romantic Disneyland. It's harsh, and it can be cruel. That's why you gotta respect it in a certain way. Anyway, I'm going off. All right, I'm done. That's why I'm from Arley.
Just to keep it short.
Yeah, keep it short.
Stories. I love stories.
They want to hear all of the stories this morning. Every single
Oh
one.
man,
We're gonna be here all week.
You want your wisdom.
They want the wisdom.
the wisdom. Okay, I know. This is a good piece of wisdom. Always know where the fire extinguisher is, and know how to use it. So this is a funny thing, right? So I have three younger sisters, and when we were younger, of course they were younger than me, so I was out of the house I got kicked out of the house, before they were older. And so they were I don't know what they were trying to do. They were trying to cook or something, but they lost track of what they were up to, and so
Cooking with
um
fire.
yeah, yeah. So in the theme of this is why you should know where your fire extinguisher is and know how to use it. So my mom, and I don't know why, this is really unusual. And who's ever seen their parents take a bath? Not seen them in the bathtub, that's weird. But I mean, no, no, that
Kristen
they
raised her
took
hand.
they took a bath. Well, maybe everybody does, but it's really an odd thing to like for my mom to say, hey, I'm gonna take a bath. They're like, okay, that's weird to know. This is something that don't cross your mind. Anyway, she was taking a bath, and my sisters, these little knucklehead, like preteen and teenagers, I don't know what they were trying to cook. So they started to cook something. But of course, this was pre-cell phone. So this is like pre-internet, pre-cell phone. So something distracted them. Now we can't even imagine what that would be right today. Like we know what the distractions are today, that we can doom scroll, look at social media, Snapchat, whatever. But they got distracted by something, who knows what, and they must have went outside. And next thing you know, the pan that they put on the stove started to smolder. It got really hot. And whatever was in there was cooking too much, and it started to fill the house with smoke. Needless to say, um, do they have tribal housing in Canada? Like housing that the tribe and the First Nations built for you? Do they have that? Okay, and usually they're pretty substandard, right? And they're kind of ugly. Oh yeah. So our house looked like maybe you don't relate, but like a chicken coop, like a place where chickens ought to live. That's what our house looked like. And the door handles, they're always falling off, and you could just like casually bump into the wall and make a hole. I don't know, probably be a little more force, but and they're always cold, whatever. Anyway, so they're cooking something and it starts to smolder and burn, and they're outside. Luckily, the fire alarms actually worked. So fire alarms go off, fire alarms beep 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 beep.
It wasn't just all the smoke.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, maybe it was just telling you need to change your batteries. Either way, they went off. And so there was like a convergence. Like my sisters heard it, my mom heard it, and she went into a total panic, and she burst out of the bathtub and ran downstairs. Now everybody knows you don't take a bath in your clothes. Yeah, that's weird. So you can imagine a 50, 40 plus Indian lady bursting out of the tub, fully nude, running downstairs, and sees the fire on the stove, and completely filled with smoke. And at the same time, my three sisters run in the house, and the first thing that they see is their naked mom standing there, looking at the kitchen and at the fire. And what did they do? They panicked. They're like, "Oh my God, my mom's standing there naked," and they ran out of the house. They ran completely out of the house. And my mom's freaking out. She don't know what to do. And then finally, one of my sisters came back and she said, "Get the fire extinguisher." So she ran and got the fire extinguisher, and she was standing there with the fire extinguisher. And my mom says, "Put it out with the fire extinguisher." So what does my sister do? My little knucklehead sister. What does she do? She takes the fire extinguisher and throws it at the fire. She throws it at the fire. She don't operate like read the tag and say, okay, pop the pin. Let's see. Oh, okay, press the handle, point it at the fire. No, she physically takes the fire like it's a grenade. Pull the pin, throw the extinguisher on the fire, and hopefully it blows up and puts the fire out. It didn't do none of those things though. And eventually, I think my other sister had to run into the smoke and grab the extinguisher and actually put the fire out. I don't know. My mom must have slinked off, realized she was naked, and went back to her bath. I guess I don't know.
Maybe she was
That's
trying
the
to get
wisdom.
water.
Yeah, yeah. She could have rolled on it, maybe. I don't know. I don't know. Anyway, that's my wisdom for today. Today's lesson is always know where your fire extinguisher are. Know how to use it. It's not a grenade, man. It's not a grenade. Yeah. Anyway, the end
Yay!
Of that story.
of that story. Yeah. Oh, many
That
more.
story. We're gonna have
Many
more
more.
stories, right?
Yeah.
So since we're part of the Indigenous Youth Wellness team, we always like to talk about what our guests do for their wellness. Do you have any stories about wellness that you'd like to share with the youth today?
Oh man. Are you trying to make me cry? I carry a lot of trauma, you know. You're trying to draw the trauma out of me. Is that what you're trying to do? No, wellness, yeah. Probably the thing that keeps me sane among the crazy things in my life is really pursuing the things that keep me curious. And generally, I guess I would say in the past couple decades has really been taking a deep interest in understanding what my ancestors and generations ago, what they thought about the world. We can make a lot of assumptions about that based on, how we live now, but really trying to dig into the words they said, how they lived, so that I can be a bit more descriptive when I hear words thrown around in our communities today, like relationality and reciprocity, all these, things that we hear, stewardship. What do those things really mean? And how did our ancestors really think about them and operationalize them in a very practical way? That that really keeps me going. It keeps me centered when I get bored. I can always lean on that to help me to stay focused because everybody knows. And if there's any males in the crowd, this is another piece of wisdom that I'm going to drop to you. You're never going to be right, ever. Never. Get used to it. You're wrong. You're wrong.
Let's say it again.
You're wrong. You'll always be wrong your whole life. Always. Get used to it. I mean that's just the way, because probably about 90% of the time it's true. Because we're kind of knuckleheads. The male species is we have about 10% of gifts that we can offer to the world, and the 90% is just making up for things that we did wrong. So we need a lot of healing, us guys, and part of that is really is for us not to get bored. When we get bored, we get dangerous. We get dangerous. So that's why it's good to keep the body active and to keep the mind active, and that's sort of what I do for wellness. When I was younger, probably in my like teens and 20s and 30s, going to powwows and singing, that was my thing. It still is, but well, I probably lean more toward the intellectual side of things now, just pondering the meaning of life. But those things, singing and dancing and being social in those kind of ways, being around people that sort of staved off that boredom. Because I think we all can relate to like the idea of getting bored and how it can make our minds drift. And maybe one night we're sitting at home and we're bored, then we think, well, I don't know, let me go. I'm gonna go run around town and break some stuff, maybe. That was the kind of thing that happened when I was young. When we got bored, we'd go break stuff. I don't know why. Stupid. Or go party. Stupid. Don't need to. Yeah. Anyway, there it is. Two bits of wisdom. Don't, especially for the males, don't get bored, man. Occupy your time with something healthy. Don't break stuff. And you're always going to be wrong. Okay? Get used to it. Drop that ego right now. The end
Of that story.
of that story.
There's always another story.
We got more.
I can't wait to hear what will be. Yeah. What about your podcast? Can you tell us about how you started it?
Oh yeah, so I and a handful of colleagues were we were kind of getting sick of some things, man. We were fed up we were fed up, and I'll just be bluntly honest with you about it. We were fed up with academic indigenous academics misrepresenting how we think and feel. And instead of being complainers about it, we thought, well, we should start putting some stuff out there that we think represents what we see in the communities in which we came from. And so we got together and we wrote a big grant to in America called the National Science Foundation. And we got this like $5 million to start an Indigenous research center. And we were gonna found this center on the principles of truly community and Indigenous thought and ideas. And we were gonna try to buck the standards that we seen in academia that seem to misrepresent or generalize how Indigenous ideas were. So we had this like three-pronged approach. And because COVID, this was right during COVID, right? We weren't able to enact some of the dissemination products that we wanted to do, which was to show up at conferences and be respectfully disruptive of the status quo, or produce papers that challenged the current thought. So we had to sort of think of a different way, and that different way was to start a podcast. We said, well, we can't do these things, we can't really meet. We'll start a podcast and we'll just start putting these ideas out there. We'll have guests that we feel that can contribute to that conversation. And so that was sort of the origin of this podcast. Well, in between that time that we started that, I and everyone part of that center was essentially sort of left that institution we were at because of the climate that was at that institution, and we all went our separate ways to different jobs and different institutions. But we sort of held on to that concept of maintaining sort of an Indigenous voice in the manner of podcasting, and I and my one colleague just kept it going. We renamed and rebranded it, and we do a very we don't script anything really. We come with it. Well, I should say I come with a general idea of what I want to talk about. And then I'll batter my guests and co-hosts with those ideas just to try to get their true thoughts and feelings and my true thoughts and feelings out. That's less academic and more real. So like the conversation that you would have with your friend or partner, at any time, anywhere. But of course, we just naturally we're not trying to be funny, but naturally we talk about humorous things and things that make us laugh, and we're not doing those things to try to be funny or entertaining. It's just our nature to just talk about things that make us laugh. So we really like to use that as a means to facilitate some of our thoughts. The end. That wasn't really a story. That was just more like a sermon. Now turn to page 64. We're going to read from John 3:6-1.
We do have some questions here, but before we move to those, can you tell us the name of your podcast? You mentioned rebranding it, but we haven't said the name.
Oh yeah, so Tribal Research Specialist, the podcast. That's the name of the show. Yeah, and I think we've been going since I don't know 2020 maybe, about 5 years now or so. I think there's a handful of episodes. I think maybe 10 that are under our previous name that are still on there. I think it's called Indigenous Research Specialists, or I can't remember what it's called
It's
now.
been that long.
Yeah, it's been a while. Yeah,
Yeah.
and yeah. Okay, question. Shoot.
Question.
Okay, I really want to know about what it's like to grow up in Montana.
Can you hear her?
She
Olivia
wants to know
Yeah.
about what?
Like to grow up in Montana. What is it like to grow up in Montana?
What is it like to grow up in Montana?
Is it like Yellowstone?
Oh yeah, there's a bear. There's a big volcano. No, Montana is quite diverse. But where are you guys at?
We're in Kamloops.
Okay, Kamloops. So there's a good portion of Western Montana that is very similar to Kamloops. It looks very similar. In fact, the eastern or the western part of our reserve reminds me it just reminds me when I go to Kamloops, I feel like I'm there. The Okanagan, very similar to sort of what the northern and central part of our reserve looks like in western Montana. And where I come from in the southern part of our reserve, it's mountainous. It sort of reminds me a lot of sort of what like Vancouver, this sort of area is. If you take the ocean away and the really large trees, there's trees, but they're just not as large. So very similar, but Montana, Mont, yeah, smaller trees. Montana is like oh well, okay. So Vancouver is weird, man. Vancouver is weird because there's so much diversity. There's so much diversity because you can see like a one of those Indians and the Punjabis, and you can see an Asian and a black guy, and they're all gonna go play basketball together. And that's weird to me. When I first moved here, that's so strange. Because where I come from, there's two people, and it's really stereotypical, cowboys and Indians. That's it. And we've been living together for so long that we are accustomed to how we hate each other. And we're okay with it, We're accustomed to our own brand of racism. But when somebody new comes in, like from California or Texas, they bring a whole different kind of weird hate. And they sort of disrupt everything. They're like, "Hey, man, we already know how we hate each other. We don't need no new hate. Okay, we got it. We got it figured out." That's kind of what it's like growing up in Montana. Really mixed, really white and native mix, and there's families that are blended in that way, and it's really agricultural, a lot of ranching, but lately that's become less of a thing. But small. I come from a small town, about 700 people in the whole valley.
Yeah.
That's what it's like going to Montana.
Oh,
We'll end on a great note. With that, thanks for having me on your podcast. And I can't wait to hear everyone listening to this podcast. Yeah, great. Well, yeah, I do have to go though. But like I said again, thanks for having me. And but seriously, the things that I said, I layer them with these crazy stories. But there's some truth. There's a lot of truth to all these things, about growing up as a male native. There's certain things we learn about how to behave around women, and I kid around about that, about you're always wrong, but we afford that to our counterparts because we respect them so much, and we want to provide them with a great amount of happiness, because then that provides us with a great amount of happiness. And sometimes we have to enact our tribal or our indigenous values in odd ways. And sometimes people witness that and they don't understand it, and we get misrepresented in a particular way. So but we have to just stick to what we know and our principles and how we act and behave within our community and our lands, and without explanation sometimes. So great to have a chance to chat with you all. I hope next year that they'll have a nice selection of sweats to choose from.
The sweatpants.
Yeah, some sweatpants that you can give out to conference attendees. I'd like a pair. I didn't bring any sweats with me from Arlie to Vancouver, so I don't have no sweats.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, with that, I'm gonna log off. I hope I hope this still goes because I made Jacob the host. So we'll see what happens. If you lose the feed, I'm sorry.